Ceremony. Rohnert Park. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hello, my needle drops. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. It's time for an album review. Ceremony is a 5-piece from California whose music makes me miss the days when I had a mohawk. Not that you need a mohawk to enjoy punk music. But yeah, I gave it away. Ceremony is a punk band on this album anyway. Rohnert Park is Ceremony's third LP, and their previous two were much more heavy, dense, extreme. Lots of relentless drums on those records, thrashy riffs. Kinda reminded me of DRI, but much noisier, maybe with a little bit of metal influence too. Of course, those earlier records also display some punk influence, but this new album is the tightest embrace of that classic 80s hardcore style that this band has ever done. The stripped down and somewhat tinnier sounds on this LP, homage to some of the best hardcore California has had to offer, like Circle Jerks and some of the darker and more experimental elements Black Flag introduced into their music on albums like My War. But what I love most about Ceremony and this record in general is that when you listen to one track, when you listen to just a little bit of the album, you know, what you see is what you get. There's this really crunchy bass in the mix that sounds a lot like chewing on a mouthful of stale cereal. The guitars are really thin, they don't have a lot of punch to them, but they are just blaring. And the vocals are just
spiced.
Just pissed as hell. Vocalist Ross Farrar doesn't get really poetic, but if you look at his words, there's some stuff to think about there. And as far as the vocal delivery, it's just as urgent as the music going on behind it. Ross Farrar's voice is like lighting a piece of sandpaper on fire and then rubbing your eardrums with it. There are some tracks on here that sort of seem like interludes. They're called The Wayside Parts 1, 2, and 3, and most of them consist of just some slower guitars, strumming, maybe some soloing, maybe some vocal samples playing off in the background. Despite the fact that these tracks aren't as speedy or as intense as a lot of the other songs on the album, they sort of seem necessary to just add some dynamics to this LP, to make it sort of seem like Ceremony isn't just a one-trick pony on this album. So long story short, these interludes do not feel like filler. As far as gripes on this LP go, some of the tracks do have some sameness to them, sameness of sound, sameness of vocal inflection. But you know what, that comes with the territory when you're making this style of music. It's a very defined style and doesn't have a lot of wiggle room. This album didn't reinvent the wheel, it didn't change the way that I look at punk music. I don't think that's what Ceremony is shooting for, but it's really inspiring to hear music like this made with this much ferocity. It's just uncompromising. Most modern punk records only make me really want to listen to the old stuff. Just turn it off, put on something that's older, more classic, more well-traveled, something that we know is good. This album is one of the rare occasions where that didn't happen. If this is on, I'm listening to this. It's not like I'd rather be listening to something else. I know there are some people in my audience who are not going to be into music that is this loud, that is this crazy, but you know what? I needed something like this. To listen to music like this every once in a while, it's refreshing. It's like taking a bowl of ice water and just throwing it on your face. It's like, hey, wake the f*** up. I'm not feeling a decent, not a strong, but feeling a light 8, maybe a strong 7. I am highly recommending that you at least check this out. So if you want to clean your ears out with some unfettered rage, or enjoy the comeback of a classic hardcore sound, then this is where you want to be. But if you guys are into this record, or if you're not into this record, let me know. Let me know why. Anthony Fantano, Ceremony, Rohnert Park. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being awesome. Forever.